think these animals are being used as lawnmowers. This is a nice hotel, probably 3-4 star, depending upon where you are, like I would know. Has its own dock, probably provides its own tours of the islands like I took yesterday. Okay, so just some notes off of this thing that I may not have. 1861, the government ordered these two boats, 27 to 66 pieces. Launched 1870. This is the lady who will take me on a tour guide. Ah.
Yeah, it's capstan.
Capstan, see.
For anchor.
Yeah.
For the lift the anchor.
See. Yeah. Original?
This is new.
New? Ah.
The original it was scrapped. Yeah.
Capstan is original though.
Yeah, the capstan is original. It is for.
Igual cuatro hombres.
This, yeah. It is the original chain.
Ah, yes.
That's the 110 meters bridge. The anchor has the 300 kilos, is very heavy.
In the chain?
Yeah,
or the
it
anchor?
was transported piece by piece and by mule.
Yes,
6
yes.
years, yeah.
So with this, we lift this up and put it in here?
Yeah.
I see.
This is the.
Ah, yeah. Put that in
chain
first.
Here.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. Or the other.
On the other side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now let me just do that.
One by one.
Yeah. Yeah. Can it abajo, arriba, dos chains?
Yeah.
Same time?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting, before we would put these things in, we need to put the chains in. And then we'd lift the chain up and over the top on one side, and this chain up and over on this side, and then it
finish this.
Mm-hmm.
Stop the order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we can raise and lower both anchors at the same time.
In different positions.
Yeah. Explicar, por favor.
Yeah.
So it's by pushing on a handle, it lifts the chain up, and now the chain is free to fall, and of course so does the anchor. And then to stop it, you just let it release back down. Yeah. And then this device will secure the chain in its position. Stop it and secure it.
Yeah, it is for the lift the anchor. When the ship they move. Yeah, that's one of the.
This little device here, I'm not quite sure how it would be used, but is used to actually bring the anchor on board so it can be secured on deck in rough weather. Now the interesting thing to realize as we walk throughout this boat is that every single piece you see, whether it's the chain or the air pipe, all had to be brought in pieces by mules and other simple conveyances like that.
Problem with the Bolivia. Yeah.
Better get ready.
Yeah. The guns now it's not here. The guns they never arriving here.
Oh, for the mast.
For the mast.
Oh, so it could sail too, eh?
Yeah, it was used to sail.
Oh.
For the help of the steam engine.
So this was for the mast because the engine only had 16 llama power. I don't know what that converts into horsepower, but it was necessary then to have the wind power as an additive power source for the boat to get underway very well. Something interesting to note, the original boat went to this point right here where you can see the riveting, but then the boat was actually extended in size by extending the hull and extending the deck, and that's where you see all of this newer technology of welding, and that gave them a hull for hauling wood and llama and any now passengers in the future. Right now the hold only contains sand for ballast, but in theory that would be replaced by cargo if they were moving some cargo. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the original candle.
Ah, isn't that pretty? Yeah. Cuidado en futuro para tramposos personas.
Sí, 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 sí.
The hardware is always beautiful because it's the old brass in the days when they...
Yes, these parts the Yavari, these are on the fleet of lake.
So here are models of the two original ships, sister ships, and you'll notice that when we go from the Yapura down to the Yavari, you'll notice the Yavari is a little bit longer, and that is of course because that additional 38 feet, ¿cuánto feet extends? So it was extended by 12 meters, and that's why it's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
This is the SS Koya, which is a white ship I'll video in a few minutes. What, 1893?
Yeah, 1893. Yeah. 5, it was working 18 years. Ollanta now is the Orient Express. In the future it's possible to sail it.
It will be restored also?
When they finish. These parts it was the used for offices cabin. No. Offices is okay?
Officer?
Yeah.
Officers?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, good. So this room was used for officers. It's been painted many times. The obvious quick solution to any restoration, if you will, but now the true restoration will take place starting this next week, where they'll strip right down to the bare wood and again restore this to its initial component. Presumably in the future there may be passengers that will be allowed to rent this room. And this is the officer's mess.
Yeah, yeah. The original table. Original captain chair.
Oh, I see. Yeah. And these chairs are all original?
This is new.
Oh, new, okay.
Yeah, it's the replica.
Pero similar.
Casi similar, Yeah.
Ah, bien. Don't know if you can see this, but this is the blueprint of the boat after the extension of the boat, so far as people, etc.
Un momento, señor. Caramba, no cabía. Nada.
These are just random pictures regarding the boat. This picture illustrating the very primitive methods that were required to move the pieces of steel that go into this boat all the way from the Chilean coast. And here are the two sister ships being assembled. It's interesting to realize this is a kit.
First stop in Peru is the port of Puno, home to 3 of the original Lake Titicaca steamboats. One of them is being restored by an Englishwoman called Muriel Larkin. Her family were once Clydeside shipbuilders, and it's still in the blood. She spends a few months in Peru every year and lives on board. Hello? Hello? Anyone aboard? Oh, hello, Muriel. Michael Palin. Yeah, yes.
See you.
Nice to see
Welcome
you.
aboard.
I thought you might be out on the lake cruising.
Well, we're going to. Give us another year and we'll be there.
How did the ship originally get here to Lake Titicaca?
It was meant for promoting the area, bringing out the local produce. And they brought it in pieces, and each piece had to be designed in such a way that a mule could carry it. The maximum mule could carry was about 400 pounds. So having designed that and built it and packed it in packing cases, they brought it all the way to Arica.
So that was how many pieces?
2,766.
So all these bits, and they're very heavy. This is real sort of solid
All iron.
cast iron. It was on mules back over the Andes. How long did that take?
Well, it took about 6 years.
Yeah. Can we have a look around?
Yes, please do. Why not? Come up to the bridge.
Muriel hopes that the Yavari, named after a local river, will soon be restored to her former glories, which were considerable.
I want to show you, well, this is the original binnacle here.
Brass, yeah.
Yes, lovely. And the wheel is in the museum in Arequipa, so we hope to get that back. And that, this is the original chain steering. This chain led out through that hole there, and the other one went out through there and went right back to the stern, to the propeller.
Yeah.
So the wheel had sort of direct...
A pretty heavy wheel to turn.
Heavy wheel.
To move that chain each time.
That's right, that's right.
Okay,
So,
we see the...
yes,
go below?
let's go below.
Okay. The machinery is a little more sophisticated down in the engine room, and only 80 years old. Brass and copper fittings.
This actually was installed in 1913. It's a Swedish Bollinger 4-cylinder
Is it a steam
bulb, semi-diesel. It's a semi-diesel actually, but it replaced the steam engine that the ship was equipped with originally.
Yeah.
And that proved so unsatisfactory. It would run on dried llama droppings. It was the only fuel available up here.
Really?
So the first thing the crew had to do when they reached any little port was to hurry ashore with their bags and fill them up. And fill up the cargo hold, which was meant for the cargo, so they had to extend the hull.
Llama droppings.
Yes, the llama droppings, the llama droppings.
Do they still use them for fires?
For fuel, yeah, yes, very much so. Let me take you down to the aft deck. You're looking at the hull. We were very lucky actually, because being iron, and because of the altitude and because of the lake being fresh water, the corrosion is absolutely minimal. So it's in really good condition.
It's in good shape, yeah.
Excellent.
On behalf of all those mules that carried it over the Andes, I can only hope Muriel gets the support she needs to relaunch the Yavari.
On the world's highest navigable lake rests a remarkable piece of British maritime history. The Yavari steamship was built in England in 1862 for the Peruvian Navy at a cost of £4,000. In 1987, Muriel Larkin paid the scrap metal value of £3,000 for what was by then little more than some floating junk lying in the harbour.
She was just tucked away in a corner of the port over there, and listing badly and looking she'd sort of turned her stern on the lake as if she was going to die.
It's taken 14 years of fundraising and refurbishment to return the ship to her former glory. Recently, the 1914 Bollinger engine was repaired, but it's been a difficult task.
You can believe that. I mean, honestly, after that, we can make or we can do whatever we want to do. I mean.
But today is the real test. It's a nerve-wracking time for Carlos and his crew. Just time for some final checks, and the Yavari splutters into life.
Yes, we baptized the engine. Her name is Victoria. Victoria de la Dulce. That means the sweetheart Victoria.
Anything else that you have to do now before we set sail?
No, just set sail. We are ready.
At last, she slips out of dock, whilst the local Peruvians watch on. The Yavari's journey to this lake is almost unbelievable. She was brought overseas from England along with her sister ship, both in pieces. That's 2,766 separate iron parts. This is a historic day for the Yavari. It's only the second time in 40 years and the first time in this new millennium that she has set sail. Her journeys here on Lake Titicaca have now spanned 3 centuries. For all involved in the ship's restoration, this has been a labour of love. But finding the cash has been hard.
Well, the future, if we had the money, would be to convert the ship into a small Victorian cruise ship. Now, quite honestly, the money has been so difficult to come by up to now. Goods in kind are much easier.
With such a long and illustrious past, it only seems fair that one of the oldest ships in the world be given the chance of a working future. Julie Yitka, Sky News, Peru.
Rather. Yeah.
This is the emergency tiller or wheel back here. And this is the original chain drive. Notice the similarity to the boat I was on yesterday.
Yeah. It's original.
And what is the name of what's the name of the Ardennes?
Yeah. Emergency Yavari, ya. Es el baño de emergencia. No, pero en español es esto. This is it's original, that part. The other part's new. This part for the mast. Yeah, for the second mast. Yeah. 320 horsepower, 225 revolutions per minute. It has the 9 knots and only 2 stroke. In 1999, we have to finish the restoration. Now it's still working. With the unique engine, the 4-cylinder in the walls.
So this would have been the original workbench, been a bit restored. These are the new tools for the engineer. And here on the original rack are the old tools.
Para la comunicación de la cabina con el ingeniero.
And that starts, that little mechanism up there preheats the cylinder as you have to do. And this is the flywheel. Now this engine is started with this compressor which uses batteries to start its little motor up on top or run it. And then the compressor starts the flywheel spinning, and then that can make the engine start. This engine is just for electricity, hand started by that hand pump like an old Model T, and then it runs all the electricity separate from the main engine. Have to have one. We're up on the top deck now, but what's interesting about this design is notice the big chain. That's the steering chain, one on either side of the boat. It migrates up here to the top bridge, so it's a totally exposed mechanical system, which really has the benefit of being serviced easily, a la the breakdown of the boat I was on yesterday. These are the very pretty skylights, which will look beautiful when they can get restored. One goes down into the crew cabin and the other goes down into the engine room. ¿Es posible?
Yeah.
You can look inside. And notice here the devices for being able to lift the engine or the cylinders out.
Yeah.
And here are the stacks for the engine as well as air intake. And these are the original brass starboard and port lights, or lanterns. Look at the massive brass pulley. Okay, we're in the cabin of this old ship, and it's been very much restored, particularly the brass, which of course is the most beautiful element, I think, of old things. All of this is original. The museum in Arequipa had copped most of it, but then apparently returned all of it. And all of these are original devices that were used on this particular boat. Here's the massive wheel, one man on either side, looking to the rear, to the front, to steer it. This would have been their view. Original clock that apparently still works, the key hanging above. The binnacle with one of the original lights or lamps for lighting the compass at night. The megaphone, telescope, map case, and this of course for the engineer to communicate with the engine room. And here the devices for, at least the device in the middle for determining how much list you've got on your ship at any one moment. Here's the bagnio, very much in a state of near completion and restoration. Even a little shower there. So at some time in the future, the ship that I'm on, the ship that we're looking at, and this other ship that we're looking at should be restored and become valuable tourist assets on the lake. Another view of Puno, and the long distance view is perhaps the best one. And here the hotel has created a facsimile of floating island houses. This restaurant had an average price on its menu of 32 to 45. That defines it clearly as a European, North American restaurant.